I don't want to upset Molly.
I'm sorry, was Shaq ever the most skilled player in the game? But he was the best at one point, wasn't he? But he could do it in the playoffs.
I enjoyed Smith's story. I enjoyed it. I just want to say that. I like the graphics, the whole
So do
thing.
I love it.
Cool.
And by the way, Shaq was the most dominant, never the best.
What we did.
Oh, really? Shaq was never the best player in the game?
No, he was.
Shaq was never the best player in the game.
Yes,
oh, yes,
he was the most dominant.
Yes, he was. He was the best player in the game.
Okay.
Big Perk's here for this. Hey, Perk. But Max, I'm going to start with you. I know you got some feelings on that. Was Shaq ever the best player in the NBA?
Unless you have amnesia, of course. Is this a trick question? Shaq, do me a favor. Tweet at the show. Just answer this question yourself. Because I know what Kobe and Shaq used to say. Kobe best, Shaq most dominant. But let me make it simple. And Stephen A. picks up on Shaq most dominant, not the best. Oh, well, he's not the most skilled Duncan, or Kobe had more skills. In 99-2000, Shaq was the MVP, 30 points, 14 boards, and 3 blocks a game. He was the Finals MVP 3 years in a row. 3-time Finals MVP. By the way, he and Kobe played on the same team. He was a 3-time Finals MVP. But let me cut through all the nonsense. In those years, let's just take 99-2000. If we said, okay, list the best players in the NBA, the only position that Shaq would be in is 1. So everything else is semantics. You'd have Shaq 1, and then either Kobe or Duncan 2, and then the other 3, and then KG or whoever 4. But Shaq would be 1, and that was not the only season he'd be 1 on the list. In fact, the guy who had the most kind of undisputed claim to being the number 1 guy in the NBA, the best player in the NBA, between Jordan and LeBron's prime. I mean, Kobe was that. Duncan, you could argue, was that. But the guy who had the number 1 most undisputed claim was Shaq. That was the dude. How are we going to sit here and pretend that didn't happen? Of course Shaq was the best player in the game.
Well, first of all, my apologies, because I thought that we were talking about in terms of their playing time and whatever. 1999-2000, Shaq averaged 29-7, and he was clearly in his prime, most dominant, no question about it. He was unbelievable. From that point forward, it was Kobe, period. And when I look at Tim Duncan, and how spectacular he was. After Shaq won the MVP and they won their championship that year, the very next year, Kobe averaged 28.5. I would remind you that Shaq was shooting 52% from the free throw line. I would remind you that Shaq was getting bigger and bigger, and Shaq played when he wanted to play. Now, be very clear about this. Shaq was clearly the most dominant. I think Shaq is the most dominant force we've ever seen other than Wilt Chamberlain.
In our lifetime.
In our lifetime, okay? That's the most dominant force. And I'm not throwing any shade whatsoever. But not only did Shaq defer to Kobe in key moments, Shaq deferred to Kobe in the fourth quarter. Of course. Shaq deferred to Kobe at the free throw line. And Shaq, even though he could defend, especially if you challenged him, he'd shut you up real quick. That's not something he really had to do. So when I'm looking at Shaq overall, and I'm thinking from a skill set, the man was 7'1", 330 pounds he walked around with, all right? He was mobile, he was agile, his footwork was big time. He could do damage when he wanted to. He'd be in the open court finishing off fast breaks. We get all of that. But at the end of the day, when you have a teammate, the likes of Kobe Bean Bryant, okay? I'm sorry, I don't feel that way. But again, the mistake is mine, not yours, because I wasn't really talking about 1999, 2000. I thought, I thought you was looking at it basically
during their time together, but I'll dispute that too.
All right, you can dispute that, but I'm telling you, Shaq is unstoppable, the most dominant force other than Wilt Chamberlain we have ever seen in the history of basketball. But in terms of the best from a skilled perspective, I mean, I look at Tim Duncan, I look at Kobe Bryant, his teammate.
He's not more skilled than those guys. I'm just saying, rank them. 1, 2, 3. Shaq, not just in 99-2000. I mean, Kobe was incredible. And of course, he was the closer. He's the guy who could handle the ball, create his own shot, clutch player, the whole thing. But Shaq, the following year, after those numbers I gave you 29, 13, and 3 blocks. Again, basically the same numbers. And by the way, he was the Finals MVP, not just in 99-2000, but in 2000, 2001,
no answer to him.
Right.
2000, 2002. He and Kobe played on the same team. He was the Finals MVP.
Perk get in here, guys. Perk, get in on this. Where are you? There you are.
I'm right here, Molly. Molly, I just want to know what's going on today. I've been watching First Take all morning, and I just want to say this right now to Stephen A. and Max. Stay off the weed.
Hey!
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the
It is
OG
Friday.
being passed around, the purple. I don't know the strands that's going around over there at Seaport Studio right now. But some of the things I've been hearing
look at
this
me.
morning has been blasphemous. Okay, but look, Stephen A., I gotta agree with Max on this point because for those 3 years, not only was Shaq dominant, he was the face of the NBA. I can't think of no other
I agree
guy
with
that
that.
was having an imprint on the NBA like Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, he was averaging during that time
No dispute
27
there.
points a game, 11 rebounds, 57% shooting. No, I wasn't there yet. I got in at 2003. But what I'm saying is, Stephen A., when you look at Shaq, and this is what people undervalue him at, when you talk about a skill set, Shaq footwork, Shaq ability to maneuver at that size, that's a skill set. Like, yeah, he wasn't going between his legs 1,000 times and doing all that, but you talk about the footwork that he had, was able to face up, spin off you, snatch the screws out the rim, the little soft touch turnaround that he had with one hand towards the baseline, soft touch jump hook. His passing ability is underrated. The way he was able to push the ball up the floor is no other player. Like Tim Duncan was good. He was great. Kobe Bryant was great. But Shaq was on another
Tracy
level
McGrady.
in those 3 years. And like, yeah, but I know that, right? But they felt under Shaq. And when Shaq came into arenas, he opposed his will. It was polarizing when he stepped in foot on the court. The opponents were terrified of him. So I got to say, not only he was the most dominant, but he was the face of the NBA in those 3 years.
Those three.
I never questioned whether or not he was the face of the NBA.
He's the best player.
He was the face of the NBA.
No, best player. Best player.
He was clearly the most dominant. I get that. Shaq and I have talked about this. We've had some disagreements, but not many, because he understands what Kobe Bryant brought to the table, and he understood that at 330 and a spin move. You remember, Shaq didn't spin without them damn elbows. Skiing the living. What about the Clippers?
Let me finish. There's a lot of competitive teams out there, but I don't think it's a team that can beat them in a 7-game series. A lot of
What
teams
about the Clippers? What about Kawhi?
Bro, we said that last year. So, until the Clippers beat them, it's just still the same old talk. And I get tired of watching you talk the same old talk. That's why that's like when you talk, I put it on mute. I love hearing Molly and Max talk because they speak real facts. Unlike you just be, I put it on mute, and then when the intelligent, smooth brother of Max Kellerman.
Okay. You know what's coming because I'm watching you on TNT. You know what's coming. I'm going to get you for that. I'm going to get you for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get you. Watch. You know I am.
Well, as usual, Shaq has a lot of very smart things to say.
Please, he's being too kind.
Shaq,
and lying.
When I look out west, there are two teams that are interesting to me this year that maybe aren't getting as much press as some of the others, Dallas and Phoenix. What are your thoughts about their chances this year, Dallas and Phoenix?
Very young. They should go pretty far in the playoffs, but I don't think they have enough to beat the Lakers. The team that scares me, if they're on full throttle, no mistakes, everybody's healthy, I'm always scared of Portland because I think CJ and Dame, I think they're the best backcourt in basketball right now, those two, especially when they go going and they're shooting at a high rate. Clippers also scare me, but look, I need everybody to play at a high level. I want to see that Indiana Pacers Paul George, the aggressive Paul George going through the hole, dunking, stepping out, shooting threes. I don't like seeing Paul when he goes up and down. I want to see the Indiana Pacers Paul. And Paul's been playing great, so I'm not going to jump on my guy Paul. But, if Paul could play at a high level with Kawhi playing at a high level, then yes, they can challenge the Lakers.
Shaq, talk to me about Novex Biotech. What's the deal?
Well, I wanted to be sexy like your husband. So, I was feeling lethargic. I tried everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen, your husband is beautiful. He's sexy. I know he has a six-pack. I said, you know what? I'm looking like Charles Barkley now. My belly is hanging over my belt line. So when I tried Novex GF9, I got more active. I was sleeping through the night, and I have energy. And yes, Stephen A. Smith, I have a six-pack. I'll send you a text right now. Stephen A. Smith.
I'll deal with you later.
Say
I'm not going to even say what I want to say. I'm not going to say what I want to say. You know damn well you don't have no six-pack.
See? Okay. Here's my phone.
Oh, Lord.
You haven't tried Novex Biotech, Stephen A.
He don't listen. Unless he lost about 30 pounds in 2 days.
I did.
When Shaq started taking Novak's Biotech, he was 6'1".
I got it.
Stephen A. Smith.
I got it.
Check your phone.
He did send it to. He said something too.
Yeah, check your phone.
I don't even want to see it.
It's just ridiculous.
All right,
go
president
ahead.
of the
Go
Big
ahead,
Man
show 'em.
Alliance. Oh, my
What'd he send you?
goodness.
Let's see it.
No, I ain't showing it.
Show 'em. Yeah,
Why you gonna
show it.
What?
Go ahead, show it. Yeah.
Y'all can't see this. Y'all can't see this. No.
Oh, is that a
go.
bathroom selfie?
He's sitting there with a
Yes,
six.
it
He's
is.
trying to say it's a six-pack.
Yes,
He's
it
trying to say
is.
it's a six-pack. He just sent it to me.
That
That's
is.
not him. Get out of here.
What you mean? That's Bali. That's me.
You
I'm
know what?
telling you
He
right
took this
now.
a year ago. He took this a year or two ago.
When did you take that?
He
When you were in
saved
the
it. He
finals?
saved it in his library and
Oh,
stuff.
my
He just
God.
sent it to me. I ain't buying that.
I'm telling you,
know what I
Bali,
saw.
look.
Shaq, I
I'm
want to see the
telling you right
date on
now.
that photo. That was in the archive.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
No.
All right, Shaq, I'm told you got to go. Always a good time. I knew you'd bring me a smile and a laugh. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Lose some damn weight.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
Shaq, he could do what he
You
wants.
see the picture? You see the picture?
It's
It says
2 years
December
old.
15th.
It's 2 years
No,
old.
look at
Kyrie shot 28 times. James Harden shot 14 times. To me, that's a big deal. Okay? I still expect them to come out of the East. I think if they come out of the East, Shaq, that's good enough. You're saying finals or championship or bust. I say finals or bust. Why should it be championship or bust?
You got to win. No. You listen. KD knows what it takes to win championships. So does Kyrie. James hasn't been there yet. It's time for him to get a championship. All that going to the front. No. He's not a young player. This ain't his first or second year. Championship or bust. And let me tell you why. So I guess James has a little problem with what I said. The first time we met, I had a problem with what you said, right? I talked to you like a man. And you know what you said to me, Stephen? You said, Shaq, you're a great player, but you haven't stepped up yet. Remember that? Remember you told me that? I cornered you. We got into a little argument. And look, you said, Shaq, I love you. You're the most dominant big guy in the world, but you keep getting swept. You keep getting swept. You haven't stepped up yet. So he ain't stepped up yet. All that talk about, we should be uplifting brothers and all that. I uplift my brothers by telling them the truth. I'm not a yes man, okay? You ain't show up yet. So you got to win the championship. All that making it to the finals, you're supposed to make it to the finals. You're supposed to make it to the finals, but you're also supposed to win. I want to see some people win. Look, I wish them well. I hope they win, but if they don't get a championship this year, it's a bust.
Meantime, while that was going on with Brooklyn and Cleveland, Philadelphia was winning, and they were beating Boston, and they were doing it behind Joel Embiid's 42. And Shaq, you've gotten on Embiid to stay more consistent. I say Embiid is the MVP so far this year.
No, he's not.
And guess what? If you say Embiid is the MVP, that's the talk we want to hear from our big man. That's good. Notice I say our big man because I'm the president of the Big Man Alliance. When there's another dominant big man that does what I've done, I will move out of the way. But other than that, I'm not leaving this chair. So, I've always said 28-10 is the formula for big guys to be dominant. Of course, when you go to the playoffs, you got to add to your PPG and your RPG. But, hey, I'll take 42-10 anytime. So, Mr. Embiid, keep it up.
Keep it up all he wants to. Kevin Durant is the MVP right now, Shaquille O'Neal. The brother's averaging 30 or 54% shooting, better than 40% from three-point range. And, oh, by the way, 18-month hiatus because of an Achilles tear. He's the MVP right now.
And I saw what you said yesterday, and I agree with everything you said yesterday. The man had 18 months off, and he came back like he hasn't missed a beat. Yes, Kevin Durant, is also my MVP. I have to go with Stephen A. on this one, Max.
Shaq, we're acting like there's no defensive side of the ball. Not that KD can't play defense, but if you've seen Embiid
defense
this
is
year...
overrated, Max. Defense is overrated. Stop it.
Shaq, Embiid is the closest thing the league has right now to you. And because the league is not as big man-oriented anymore, everyone thinks it's a disadvantage. He's abusing these little dudes.
Say it again. He's the closest thing to what?
To you in the league right now, as far as the big man game.
Static. I can't hear you, Max. It's a lot of static. It's a lot of static in my microphone. I cannot hear you.
Shaq, but for real, you had Penny, and Penny was great, but Penny wasn't a guard version of Shaq. Kobe was. Dwayne Wade was like Shaq great as a guard, and that's what it takes for a big to win championships. He needs another dude as good as him. Can Simmons be that guy for Embiid, do you think?
I think Simmons can be that guy. I think, Ben just needs to focus on this game. A lot of people shoot the three, do this and do that, but I think he's averaging 18, 19 points, just doing his way. Definition of a great player is making the ones around you better. So I think he just needs to stay aggressive, get to the hole. Once the defense collapses, just kick it out to your guys, and, hopefully, the others can, step up. But every now and then he's going to have to, pull out that mid-range shot and occasionally hit a three. So I think if he can do that,